Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Madame Adrienne Clarkson, Madame Michelle Jean, High Commissioner Guterres, Your Excellencies, Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a genuine pleasure to welcome you this evening to the annual Pluralism Lecture of the Global Center for Pluralism. This is our third such lecture. Its purpose is to provide a platform for international leaders, people of strong stature and great insight, to reflect on important issues that relate to pluralism. That purpose is surely fulfilled this evening as we welcome our very distinguished lecturer, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, António Guterres. As you know, Mr. Guterres was Prime Minister of Portugal for 7 years, from 1995 to 2002. He has now been the High Commissioner for Refugees for an even longer period. He began in 2005 and was elected to a second 5-year term in 2010. Les défis que M. Guterres a affrontés ont été extraordinaires, tout comme le fut sa manière d'y répondre. Ces premières années du XXIe siècle ont connu des défis humanitaires sans précédent. La situation mondiale des réfugiés a atteint des proportions de crise, souvent déclenchées par des conflits ethniques, religieux ou sociaux. Nous vivons à une époque paradoxale. Les guerres à grande échelle éclatent de moins en moins. Et l'on pourrait même dire que c'est une époque où les relations entre les grands pays sont relativement stables. Cependant, c'est également une époque de conflits violents, incessants, de faible intensité, mais de luttes armées longues et féroces, particulièrement dans les régions sous-développées. C'est également paradoxal que chaque fois que la technologie nous donne une occasion sans précédent de communiquer, de coopérer partout dans le monde, les interactions humanitaires reflètent si souvent l'échec extrême de la compréhension du pluralisme, particulièrement au sein des États et dans des contextes relativement localisés. Le résultat est une crise mondiale de réfugiés d'une ampleur et d'une gravité inégalées. How to respond to this unprecedented refugee crisis is among the most urgent challenges of our time, and we are fortunate indeed that we can hear from Mr. Guterres, who has devoted decades to confronting these questions, not only at the global level, but also in Portugal and in Europe. 30 years ago, as a young member of the Council of Europe's Parliamentary Assembly, Mr. Guterres chaired the Assembly's Committee on Demography, Migrations and Refugees. In 1991, more than 20 years ago, he founded the Portuguese Refugee Council, the only national NGO in Portugal today that works exclusively for the benefit of asylum seekers and refugees. That work, we should note, has had an impressive dual focus. It begins with meeting the immediate dangers faced by arriving refugees, the challenge of providing sustenance and protection. But then it goes on to address the challenge of integration, helping refugees achieve equality of opportunity in their new settings. The challenges faced by refugees have been a central concern of mine for a very long time. My own community has, at various points in our history, been forced to seek refuge in new homelands. And our most recent crisis, you will all remember, was the presidency of Idi Amin in Uganda. And where did we seek refuge? Here in Canada. And I have long admired the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. As you may know, my late uncle, Prince Sadruddin Aga Khan, had the privilege of serving as the UN High Commissioner for Refugees from 1966 until 1977, playing an instrumental role in reorienting that organization from a focus on post-war European refugees to one with a deeper emphasis on global humanitarian crises. Throughout his own long career, António Guterres has been a passionate and effective advocate on these issues, articulating both the rights of the refugees and the responsibilities of society to support and to integrate them. Underlying both his words and his work is a conviction which I share, that any person's worth in this world does not depend on where he or she has come from, and that all people should be welcomed into the fabric of society, of the society in which they may find themselves, so that they can contribute to that society's long term. The Global Centre for Pluralism was established, as our Secretary General has just said, with the Government of Canada, and was inspired in part by Canada's experience as a highly diverse society with a long-term commitment to welcoming and supporting newcomers. The Centre was founded as a place where we can all learn from one another about the challenges of diversity and about the enormous possibilities that can open up for us when we respect diversity as an opportunity rather than fearing it as a burden. To that end, the Centre is also a destination for dialogue, a place to exchange ideas with true champions of pluralism. And that is exactly what we are doing tonight. Please join me in welcoming the Centre's very distinguished lecturer for 2014, High Commissioner António Guterres.